Welcome back to Bogz Studio. Today, as part of the BOGZILLA Studio Sessions, we're going to be exploring another letter in the letter series. We're on to the letter O, and there are a lot of different ways that we could take this. For the most part, the letter O ends up being circular. Sometimes it's a little bit more of an ellipse than a circle. Sometimes there's a little bit of variation in the thickness as it moves around. So if we were to focus on a traditional like serif versus sans serif, or maybe even a script O with a little bit of a lean to it and some flourishes, that'd be pretty straightforward. I thought today maybe instead of an actual typeface, we could work with a form that is reminiscent of an O. And so what I'm considering is sort of painting a donut in a way. And yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to spend a little bit of time. I might actually do a buff today because I'd like the background to go back to white. And so I'll spend a little bit of time doing that. Probably going to take 2 coats to cover this. We'll just use a latex so that it dries quickly, and we will see how this comes together. Thank you for being here. Stick around and check it out. So you get the idea. This is going to be the same, just painting around this circle. Alright, so we got the buff wrapped up here. Could probably use another coat. I'm not too concerned about it though. We'll just go ahead and roll with this. I might give it a few minutes to dry, and then we'll get this thing started. The buff kind of created the shape. It's kind of a little bit organic, a little unperfect, maybe pulled a little bit. We'll have a light source from the top right coming in, casting some shadows, which will help kind of center it up in the composition a little bit. And then I think what we're gonna do is work with like that stereotypical pink frosted donut, maybe with sprinkles. So that'll be the plan. Again, I'm gonna let this buff dry just a little bit before getting started, although I could start blocking in color here. So we'll see. I kind of want to get the shadow on first, and maybe doing that with the buff still wet would be okay. So I'm gonna go with like a light gray, maybe a little bit of a bluish gray tone in there. So we'll check that out. Maybe I'll go ahead and do that. Might as well, right? lay down a little bit of this beige for the, I guess, just fried dough portion of it, maybe towards the bottom edges, and then we'll go with like a little bit darker tone than this, maybe like a tan or a light brown to give it that kind of look and feel. Get a little bit of that smashed potato, that kind of yellowish tone. Alright, we got pink Cadillac then going on for the frosting, and I think that'll probably touch some of these edges. I just kind of wanted to define those a little bit, get them as part of the composition. I think I'm also going to get that other air scrubber going quick. Lighter pink now. This is Miss Piggy.
spin this shadow out. Oh, yeah. Spin the shadow just a little bit more. Kind of soften that edge up a little bit. Yeah, I think that's feeling pretty good.
clean up or backfill. Okay. All right. Well, this is it. So, BOGZILLA Studio Session letter series. We got the letter O here in donut form. I think it's kind of fun. There's some interesting things happening here, I think, with like the shadow treatments and then the highlights. Maybe overdid it on the highlights a little bit. I really wanted to give it that kind of like high reflective quality though. I could go in here and like drop some outlines in to define some of these shapes a little bit more, but I think it's really working pretty effectively like this. I'm not exactly sure how the camera's picking that up. I've got a little bit of an issue with like the unit itself connecting up, so yeah, we'll just hope that this looks great and kind of go from there. So thank you for joining us here at Box Studio for this BOGZILLA Studio Session. Yeah, if you are interested in this series, if you want to see the continuation of the letter series, there's a playlist for that. There's also a playlist for the portrait series, and then a playlist that just has like the mural work on it. So check those out, subscribe, like, all that good stuff. Comment. If you leave a comment, I will answer it to the best of my ability, or respond to it in some way. And again, thank you for your time. Have a great day and make cool stuff.